What's up, everyone? Champ Bet's back again for another UFC predictions video. This time, talking about the fight night this weekend. Cannonier versus Caio Borralho. Very excited for this card. A lot of low-key bangers, although this is a very favorites-heavy card, it feels like. I won't lie. But there are definitely some spots I like this week, so let's get into it. But first, as always, let's get into what happened last week. UFC 305. Pay-per-view, Drix Duplessis versus Israel Adesanya. Let's look at the results. Ended up being profitable for me, so that felt really good. Could have been way more profitable, but profit is profit. I do not complain. I'm not the type to complain about it. So let's go through it in order of the fights I had picked. I had Kenan Song was first. So I had Kenan Song. The reason why I bet Kenan Song is because it's more of a fade on Ricky Glenn more than anything, and that ended up going out pretty well. Ricky Glenn did have some success early, but it's like he just fell off. It felt like he fell off the more the fight went, and it was pretty rough. He had a pretty massive hematoma on his head. It's just rough to see. But Song Kenan did good. He did what he had to. So good one by Song Kenan. I forgot. I skipped the fight on here. I also did bet Stuart Nickel. I did bet Stuart Nickel to win. That sucked. I didn't bet too much on it, but I did bet Stuart Nickel to win. I thought he would go in and be able to wrestle. And honestly, that's what was happening. And he got caught in the guillotine, which is what I said would be like, okay, he's got a guillotine. He's not going to get caught by that because that's his only thing to really win. He got caught by it. So, I mean, fair play. I didn't expect him to get caught by that. Well done, Jesus Aguilar. So, yeah, I don't really have much more to say about that. Next fight up the card, I had bet on Jack Jenkins. My boy Jack Jenkins pulls through with a beautiful win. Boxing looked the best it's ever did. Them kicks, I mean, he's got some of the best kicks in the UFC. He really does. Always been high on Jack Jenkins. He looked phenomenal. Wasn't a fan of him getting taken down. That does get me worried. I think if they do book that Gavin Tucker fight, he would win that still, but I do think he really needs to get to work on wrestling and not necessarily get-ups, but more so like the initial takedown defense, because you got taken down too easy by Herbert Burns. That's not a good look. But yeah, I had him as a parlay piece. I thought he was valued even like minus 750, and man, I thought he looked like it. Because Herbert was done. The fight after was Casey O'Neill, my biggest bet of the card, because I had her in a bunch of parlays, had 3 units on her initially. And yeah, she was parlayed a bunch. So yeah, she was definitely my biggest bet. I was so confident, and man, did she make me feel so proud. I should have put more on her, but it's okay. It is what it is. Profit is profit at the end of the day. Man, she fulfilled everything I said when talking about my breakdown. I thought she was better everywhere. She looked better everywhere. The pace was too much for Luana Santos. She outstruck her by a bunch. Luana really had nothing for her. Like, being quite honest, she gassed like pretty early on in the fight as well, which is not a good thing to see. Casey O'Neill put it on her, and it made me very, very proud. Thank you so much, Casey O'Neill. Pleasure doing business with you. Hopefully you get a good matchup in the future so I can keep backing you. It was a great buy low spot in Casey O'Neill. That can't ask for more from that. One of my best bets this year, so shout out to Casey O'Neill. Next fight up the card, Joshua Kalibao versus Ricardo Ramos. I thought Kalibao won, but it was like, I can't be too mad that I lost on this one. I'm glad I waited for Kalibao to place his bet. It could have been way worse with like a much higher, like worse odds than I did get him at. But it is what it is. I'll take it. He did great. Yeah, I mean, no, he didn't. Maybe not great. He really gave it up, to be honest. It felt like round 1, he gave up a really stupid takedown, and that round was like way too close for comfort as a result. But probably Ricardo Ramos won that round. And round 3 was close. I think it's also fair you gave that to Ramos. I thought Kalibao won that round, but it's like started bleeding, like visual damage on Kalibao. and like got the back. It could have been better if he won, but I can't be too mad. Next I have the card: Mateus Gamrot, Daniel Hooker, Dan Hooker. I don't know why I had to list this Daniel Hooker on over here on BetMMA.tips, but Mateus Gamrot didn't look great round 3, which is not what I was expecting. Looked really good round 1 and looked like he was kind of rounding to a finish, which I was very much liking. I thought Mateus Gamrot did win this fight. I thought he won rounds 1 and 2. It is what it is. It's another one where it's like I can't be like the most mad, although I feel like he can't. Him losing round 1 on most of the scorecards is kind of insane to me, because I thought besides the drop, that all round 1 was Mateus Gamrot, and even with the drop considering, Gamrot was landing massive shots round 1. I thought it might have been stopped. It of course should not have been stopped. Good thing it wasn't stopped, but I thought Mateus kind of should have won that. But I'm again not going to complain about that one. That was one of my bigger bets of the night, so that sucked. Steve Erceg, Kai Kara-France is one of my bigger bets as well. Steve Erceg was winning and running back, and the Kai Kara-France lands on the chin. Damn, I did not expect that. Like, I thought Erceg would be grappling more. Didn't even really do that much, so that sucked. Great win from Kai Kara-France. I've never been high on Kai Kara-France. I'm never. I don't think I ever will be. But hey, good win by Kai Kara-France. He caught Erceg pretty bad there, and was great finishing instincts to go ahead and get that one done. So good stuff by Kai Kara-France. And then the main event, I really needed one of these last 3 to win. I needed Gamrot to win, or Steve Erceg to win, or Dricus du Plessis to win. And after seeing Gamrot and Erceg lose, I was like, oh, come on, Dricus, I need you to win. Thankfully, Dricus du Plessis is that dude. He's that dude. Fought freaking great. One of the best I've seen Dricus. I thought his technique was like the best we've ever seen of him, to be honest with you. And with that in mind, like, I was getting very worried. I was going around through round 4. It's like, hey, man, Izzy's coming off. He's coming in. But like, Dricus will always have a moment where he's like, I'm gonna hit one big shot and stop him advancing, and he did. And great work by Dricus du Plessis. The wrestling and grappling were there, and I really needed that to come through with Dricus du Plessis, and he absolutely did. Absolutely. That's how he says. He says it. Nice little South African act. That's the only thing I could say from Dricus. Weird off tangent there. Du Plessis did a great job in terms of going ahead and pushing that pace. He made Izzy tired. Like, the most, I mean, not tired in the sense that Izzy couldn't keep going, but tired in it's like he's more able to make mistakes as a result. And that's exactly what Du Plessis was able to do. He makes himself tired. He makes his opponent tired because the pace he pushes is insane. And he pushes you to deep waters, and he's going to capitalize on the mistakes you make in that state, because he trusts himself to be good in that state. He did it again here, and that was so impressive by Dricus du Plessis. Great to see. And yeah, and he really made sure I had profit that night. So thank you very much, Dricus du Plessis. Good doing business with you. So yeah, we're up on units again, and hopefully this week we do so again. So let's go back and look at UFC 305 as well for the rest of the bets and picks. Or not the rest of the bets. All my bets were just right there. But let's just make a quick little recap of the rest of that card, and then we can get into the one this weekend. So first fight, Tom Nolan. I thought he would get Alex Reyes out of there quick. Alex Reyes showed a good chin. Maybe even won round 1, but otherwise it was pretty much all Tom Nolan. I don't know why people are saying Tom Nolan's a fraud, because I don't think anyone thinks this guy's like going to be anything. So I don't think you can call him a fraud anymore, like at this point. So yeah, Tom Nolan, he's always gonna be a fun guy to watch, and like you're always gonna be like, oh, I'm excited to see a Tom Nolan fight, but it's not someone you expect to be like doing anything crazy in the UFC. So like in terms of like championship stuff like that. So yeah, he'll be a fun guy to watch though, of course. Thank you, Casey O'Neill. Junior Tafa losing to Walter Walker. Why are you screaming, Junior Tafa? He did good work to begin with, Junior. Walter Walker did a good job getting takedowns. He didn't fail my rule of he has 2 takedown cardio. That's still true. He got the second takedown. It was like, he's gonna gash if Junior Tafa is able to get up or start the next round. But Junior Tafa got leg locked or heel hook, something like that. One of the two. And he was trying not to tap, but he screamed. It's a verbal tap. What are you doing, Junior? It's okay. Good win by Walter Walker. Carlos Prates versus Li Jingliang. I didn't expect him to finish Leach how he did. That was insane. Carlos Prates to be able to do that to Leach, but to be fair, he was injured. A very injured Leach coming in, like after a long layoff. He looked good. And like this dude is nasty. And fighting nerds on top of the world, of course. Don't pick against the fighting nerds, I guess, unless they're Thiago Moises. But yeah, Carlos Prates. That dude's stand up is so nasty. Do that to Leach. Hey, this guy's special. So, good to see. I missed on Ty to KO Jairzinho. I wasn't mad at the approach Ty took at this fight because like you can't fight Jairzinho just blitzing because he's gonna freaking catch you. But he wasn't able to capitalize. It is what it is. Yeah, it was a good one by Jairzinho. He looked great in this fight. 30-27 Ty was insane, but at least the right guy won. Already talked about those ones, so perfect. Let's make picks for this card, which I'm pretty excited about. Kong Wong versus Victoria Leonardo. Kong Wong KO round 1 or 2 probably. Kong Wang. What am I doing? I can't read. I'm very sorry about that. Apologies. Many people are going to talk about like all this week, like, oh my God, Kong Wang has a win over Valentina Shevchenko. If you watch back that fight, she kind of won that because of a point deduction, to be fair. So like, but to even have that close of a fight with Valentina in kickboxing, that's still great. But like when you're watching like her other fights, she fights different from other women. She's more of a pressure style, which is something you don't really see too much in women's MMA. And I think she's gonna pressure Victoria Leonardo. I think she's gonna finish her like some of these other girls have. Her stand up is nasty. I don't think Victoria Leonardo's style is gonna really give Kong Wang too many problems. Wang is bigger than her. I think she's gonna implement that against Victoria Leonardo, and I think she's probably good enough to be ranked right now, if I'm honest. So that's a rough fight for Victoria Leonardo. Giving Kong Wang to win, and like round 1 or round 2 KO probably. I'm very excited for this one. Ziggy Montas Ramaska versus Nathan Fletcher. I, unlike many other people, have watched Tough this season, so I know who these two individuals are. I know people who watch probably Cage Warriors know who Nathan Fletcher is, but probably maybe not so much Ramaska. Like I've never heard of this promotion, if I'm honest, but I'll tell you what. In my eyes, this guy Ramaska is the best guy in featherweight this season. He got robbed from the commission from fighting that last fight against Myron Santos. I think he would have beaten Myron Santos because he's a freaking massive dude himself. And I think his stand-up is just better than Myron Santos. And we'll get into Myron Santos later. I think he'll win the decision, of course. Fletcher's he's a tough dude. I like me some Ramaska. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I think he's the real deal. I understand why Fletcher is the favorite because, like, he does have takedown upside and ground upside. But I do think this Ramaska guy is freaking good. I like the reach and height of this guy in this fight. He's also very young, just like Fletcher. Not been the craziest about Fletcher, but obviously Fletcher is not. He's not bad. It's not bad. But this dude Ramaska, I think he's something like. Maybe not special, but like there's something about him. I think he's pretty good. I'm taking the dog here, and let me go ahead and check the odds on this one because they have changed a bit. I think they've gone towards Ramaska, a little bit towards Ramaska. Last I checked. Yeah, he went to plus 140 now. He was plus 130 something earlier today. But this is why I delayed this breakdown a little bit because I knew this fight was going to be on this card. I like me some Ramaska. I like me some Ramaska. I like this guy. And I think I'm probably going to end up getting a bet on him. Maybe nothing crazy. I think this guy's good. I watched Tough all season. This was like my favorite guy besides someone else we're going to talk about later on. So yeah, I like me some Ramaska. Next fight up the card, Josiane Nunes versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I got Cavalcanti. I think she's going to win a decision against Josiane Nunes. The height difference is massive. The reach difference is massive. Cavalcanti's looking like the best shape of her life. You see some footage of her like ground and pounding and stuff like that. So maybe there's a finish possible. But I think Cavalcanti's just better. I think she's better. Got a lot more upside than Josiane Nunes. Well, I think she's kind of hit the peak of she can beat. And Zyron Pham, Pasquale. I like Pasquale. I think she's all right. But like some of these other ones, jeez. I mean, Dione Barboza went kind of just pretty well, to be honest. But like, losing to Chelsea Chandler was just is such a bad look for like how bad she's been looking as of late. Against good girls, to be fair, but yeah, I think Cavalcanti, who has been gone for a good amount of time now, is going to make improvements. She's still pretty young. I think it's a Cavalcanti setup spot. So yeah, give me Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Am I looking to bet it? Maybe not so much. I can see Josiane Nunes maybe squeak out a decision just for like landing really big punches, but like I think Cavalcanti's going to win a good kickboxing match for the most part and maybe get some takedowns and do some nice work in the ground. Next, I have the card. Vyacheslav Borshev, Slava Claus versus James Longtop. I'm going Slava to win by KO or decision. I'll go KO for fun. We'll go for KO for fun. Not super confident in that, but Longtop does have takedown upside. I'm not crazy about his takedowns, but Borshev's not been the best in that realm. But on the feet, man, Borshev is so nasty. It's possible it gets caught. It's always possible, absolutely. But like on the feet, this dude Borshev's a mad dude. He's a bad man, and I love him on the feet. Yes, Chase Super dropped him, but I think a lot of that has to do with the takedown threat. Chase Super is like he's really grown into 155. He's not so bad on the feet anymore. I like Borshev. I think I think the other guy, Longtop, is gonna be more willing to strike with him, and as a result, I think Borshev's gonna be able to find a punch or a kick to the head, hurt Longtop, and do some ground and pound and finish the fight. So, give me Borshev to win. Next, I have the card: Jose Medina versus Zach Reese. Zach Reese sub round 1. That's what I think. This Jose Medina guy is a tough son of a gun. He's a tough son of a gun. So that's why I'm going sub. Zach Reese always gets finishes round 1, so I do worry if it extends. But I think if he fights smart, he can probably very easily win a decision. But I think because he's so tough, we'll find a way to get submission here. So I like Zach Reese to win via like a submission here against Zach. Jose Medina, who I'm just not super high on at all. I'm not super high on all. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life, but I like Zach Reese. I understand people taking a dog shot just because Zach Reese, we don't know what he's going to look like later on in the fight. Most of the things, everything points to Zach Reese winning though. So it's Zach Reese for the win. Next fight up the card, Dennis Bazooka versus Francis Marshall. This is a fun one. I like Francis Marshall to win this fight on super short notice against Dennis Bazooka. I love the fact that I see Francis Marshall at American Top Team instead of where he was before. I love that. He's not at Pellegrino Mixed Martial Arts. It's ATT now. He's training with guys like Grant Dawson, King Gamrot, like those kinds of wrestlers, guys who are really gonna make him better. He's drinking that ATT water, as I've heard in the past. Maybe some roiding up, but besides the point, I like me some Francis Marshall in this fight. I think he's got a good chance to win. I wish the odds were better. If he was a dog, I'd be even more willing to play him. But, I mean, odds are coming down on him, so fingers crossed if he comes down more. I'm definitely going to like Francis Marshall to win. And I would definitely bet him at, like, dog odds. Well, so we're going to see on that if the odds come down more and more. But I like me some Francis Marshall. I think he's been tested by guys who are way better than Bazooka. William Gomis, I think, is super underrated. Split decision even could go to Francis Marshall. I think William Gomis won that fight, though. Bulgarian's a beast on the ground. Can't be too mad. That I don't rate Bazooka on that level, so Yeah, give me Francis Marshall to win. I think will be a decision. Edmund Shabazian versus Gerald Meerschaert. Here we are. The big bet of the card. I love Shabazian in this fight. I don't know about method. I think it's either KO in round 1 or 2 or decision. That's probably what I'd say. I'm going to go round 1 for the fun of it. Because I don't want to stress too much. But yeah, I love Shabazian in this spot. I do think there's this narrative going around about Shabazian. He breaks or has no cardio after round 1. I don't think it's true at all. I said the same thing when I bet him last time against A.G. Dobson. If that was old Edmund, the Edmund of the past against A.G. Dobson, he does not win that fight. He quits. But that's the Edmund before Extreme Couture. Now with more and more time at Extreme Couture, after that fluffy fight, he was there for, what was it? I think it was 1 year at that point. Less than 1 year. He was there at Extreme Couture. More time, he's only going to get better and better with the cardio and stuff like that. Because he's already been a made guy. It's not like Casey O'Neill last week where you have to be melded by someone else. You can't just come into Extreme Couture and get better. Edmund has had time to meld some skill sets, and now he's at Extreme Couture. He's gonna max it out. I love him here against GM3. I think it's a setup spot. If you look at the guys GM3 beats versus the guy he loses to, Edmund fits more into the category of the guys he loses to. And again, the people Edmund beats, GM3 does not fit in that category. And of course, that's not how I'm capping the fight, of course, but it's something to consider. Edmund is too fast for GM3. He's going to be way too fast for GM3. I don't think he's going to be like a sitting duck on the ground as other people think he is. To break GM3 nowadays, you have to be fluffy. You have to do that. GM3 does not bring a fight plan like that. He doesn't. And that's just not how GM3 fights. He's too open. He's too open. He's not as open as he was in the past, but he's too open for a guy like Edmund, who's going to really do some good damage on him. And again, Edmund does not. I don't believe this narrative about Edmund. Why don't I believe it? Does not force things anymore. He does not force things anymore, which I love from Edmund. I think he can absolutely fight on range and distance and do good work against GM3 here. The speed difference is going to be too big, too much. He's my biggest bet on the card for a reason. I love him in this spot. I don't think Edmund necessarily is going to become a champion or anything like that. I think he's getting underrated even at the odds right now. What is he at? I thought it was minus 290 last time I checked, but let me take a look. Minus 290 on Bovada. So, yeah, the odds are coming down to Edmund, which is good. I like him anywhere from minus 400 down. I think he's gonna do what he wants with Meerschaert, whether it be by a finish early or a decision late. Both these guys have not won a decision in the UFC. If I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Actually, no, I know for sure I'm right about that. But if someone's going to win a decision, it's going to be Edmund because he's going to do good damage. He's going to do more damage in these rounds. I don't think GM3 is going to be able to, maybe round 3 he holds him down. But he always tries going for the subs. Shabazian doesn't give up subs. He doesn't do it. Usually if he gives up something, he gives up a TKO. But even then, I say usually, it's been so long since it happened besides the fluffy fight. Almost 3 years since Nasruddin Mavov did it. It was a freaking massive guy for the division. GM3, not the same like that. I like Shabazian here. I love him in this fight. Give me Shabazian all day. Biggest bet of the card. Michael Morales versus Neil Magny. The odds on this are insane. But what is Michael Morales? Minus 950 on Bovada. Insane. Does he get a finish? He totally could. But I'm going to go decision. I'll give Neil Magny some credit. He's a tough dude. But Morales is just... It's kind of a bit of a nightmare matchup for Magny in the sense that this dude is a genetic freak. And honestly, he can do what Magny does to him because of how big he is. How massive he is. Genetic freak, as I said. You can probably hold Neil Magny against the cage, do knees or whatever, hold him against the clinch, and then win like that if you really, really wanted to. He has good cardio, good gas tank. He does have good power. He's massive for the weight class. At this stage of Magny's career, this is a really tough fight. I don't really know what else I gotta say about this one. Maybe Magny finds a way to gas him out, and if he does, all bets are off the table. I'm not looking to really bet Michael Morales in this fight. Maybe like a bet to go to distance or in the distance, depends on like the odds on those, but I'm not too interested in either of those. Yeah, I like Michael Morales to win. Con Ofli versus Myron Santos. The tough finale for the featherweight division. I like me some Con Ofli in this fight. Let's say sub round 2. I'm way more impressed by Con Ofli when he's shown in the show than Myron Santos. Why am I not so impressed by Myron Santos in the show? The matchups he's gotten, I'm not been too big of a fan of. Edmund Cooper Jr., I believe his name. Like, Valentina's corner was yelling at him to like take down. She wanted him to try going for takedowns so much, and he did try going for some takedowns, and Myron did a good job at stopping takedowns for the most part. He did get taken down and get put in bad positions and get some points for Edmund Cooper, and Edmund Cooper is never going to win like a 3-round fight on the feet. But Edmund Cooper did win 1 round. That went 3 rounds in that fight. That went 3 rounds for that fight, if I recall correctly. I'm pretty darn sure it did. But it's like, I don't even know what Myron Santos. It's like, he doesn't do a great job at separating on the feet. He's a good striker, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad striker. He's very young. By all means, he's very young. But the takedown, I don't rate Edmund Cooper's takedowns too much. I do think his takedowns are better than the guy he easily beat in the semifinals in oh my god, I cannot remember that guy's name. The Mexican guy in the season. Tough 32. Was it Torres or Cruz? Like, I'm totally forgetting the guy's name. Edmund Cooper Jr. I'm not gonna pronounce that first. Torres. I was so low on Torres. I'm not a big fan. He's an old 37-year-old featherweight. I didn't rate so high. The way he was getting takedowns on Santos in that fight, which sometimes he would get stuffed at times. He would get stuffed. You get some crazy takedowns on Santos. I'm just not impressed by this guy. He doesn't do a great job of separating. Torres does not do a great job of separating himself either. He's just a punching bag. He gets hit too much. Not a fan. I wasn't high on him. I thought he was like the worst fighter this season besides the Canadian guy, Tom. What's his name? Forgetting that. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that either, as I don't remember it off the top of my head. The Canadian guy was not good either. Con Ofli, on the other hand, I was impressed by both performances. I don't think he's the best guy this season still. I still think that honor goes to Ramaska. I think Ramaska would beat him. I would say that. But Con Ofli, I heard I think it was Liam Picks Fights give a good comparison to Con Ofli, where it's like he's like a Volkanovski, not in the sense of like the Volkanovski of like we know now is like great kickboxer style. Like he's like rugby player, like big guy of a weight class, not necessarily big in height, but like big stature. Go for takedowns and like can beat you in the wrestling. Except Con Ofli has probably not as good wrestling, maybe, but like really good jiu-jitsu. He's got good jiu-jitsu. There's black belt. I love his ground game. And at these odds where Ofli's at now, where he's what? Like plus 168. It's wild to me. There's too much of a wrestling or grappling edge for Ofli to like be this much of a dog in my eyes. I have to play him. I have to bet him. Maybe not too much. I can understand the Myron Santos like odds somewhat because he is a massive guy. He's gonna be making improvements. Again, he doesn't do a great job at separating. I think the submission can be there for Ofli. This Turkey, well, I mean, it's more so an Aussie guy. I'm coming to know him as because I'm watching Tough. But I've just been way more impressed by Ofli and the guys he's beaten. Fletcher, I think I don't think Fletcher's a bomb or anything like that. Rudy Rudes did something really dumb, but man, to get a guillotine like he did, impressive. It's impressive. I like Ofli. I think he's going to be able to get this chance to take a win against Myron Santos here. So yeah. Next fight up the card, Ryan Loder versus Robert Valentin. I dub him Swiss Yuri. I think Swiss Yuri is gonna get a knockout here. I love this guy. I think he's the best guy on Tough this season. So much. Grasso agreed because Grasso stopped coaching most of the season and like, hey, Swiss Yuri, Robert Valentine, come here, Robzilla. You coach her because she was so impressed by that elbow KO he got on the Giannis guy, the Greek guy on the Tough season. This dude is nasty. He's dangerous. He's massive for the weight class. I know a lot of people were talking about Ryan Loder's, like he's got good wrestling. He's gonna wrestle this guy. Possible. Robert Valentine has showed that in the past. Like, hey, he's been taken down, held down. This dude is dangerous. The danger factor is off the charts with this guy, Valentine. I call him Swiss Yuri for a reason. I think any moments on the feet, he's dangerous. He's a good grappler as well. He got good grappling. I think he can get reverses. I don't think his performances in the past are necessarily indicative of who he is now, Robert Valentine. I think odds are coming down on him, which I can get. I totally can get. Minus 165, minus 155 on Bet Online, which is very nice. I did put some money on Valentine to begin with, but I think if odds keep coming down on him, I'm definitely willing to play a little more on him. I love this guy. I think the ceiling's through the roof. The UFC probably wants him to win because every episode of Tough, they throw in this guy, Valentine. The way he beat Patty on Tough was so impressive because, yeah, he did get hurt against someone who's like who's a very good striker himself, but to be able to dig deep, got that will in him, get the takedown, which obviously is not going to happen to Ryan Loder, but not like Ryan Loder's going to hurt him on the feet. Don't got to worry about that too much. He's going to be more willing to throw crazy against Ryan Loder, and I think he'll be fine. Get a takedown, get the sub how he did. Thing of beauty. And the way he dispatched Giannis, how he's just a different level of him, which he is. Incredible. It's good to see. It's great to see. And I do think his takedown defense is probably getting better. I do think it's getting better, especially when he knows it's coming in this matchup against Ryan Loder. And he's going to be dangerous all 3 rounds. I love that he's a martial artist in that he's been like Ryan Loder got into MMA via wrestling. He's like, hey, you should pick up wrestling. Because I think that's his story in Tough. Like, you should pick up wrestling. He's like a college wrestling coach. And he's like, okay. And he picked it up, of course. He picked it up, and he's a good wrestler, of course. There's no denying that. But, like, against a guy like Valentine's going to have sub-threats. He's going to be dangerous anytime this fight is on the feet. It's like, if it's on the feet at any point, Ryan Loder can get put out. 100%. 100% true. He's younger as well. Valentine is still getting better. Loder getting pretty late. Less experience. I think this is Swiss Yuri for the win. I like Swiss Yuri to win this fight. I think he's the best guy this season. So yeah. Robert Valentine. I don't want to break this fight down, but here we are. Angela Hill versus Tabitha Ricci. Not because I think it's a bad fight, but because I hate this outcome. I think Ricci wins the decision. I think Angela Hill is better. I genuinely think Angela Hill is better and probably is going to win this fight. But I think she's going to get robbed. I think she's going to get robbed. I really do. And honestly, I'm looking at playing like plus 3.5 Ricci because it's there. I'm probably going to play it because it's not like I don't think she's going to separate enough. Like Angela Hill, she's not going to separate enough in order to make it like super clear, because that's just not how Angela Hill is, unless she gets a sub randomly. But she's not going to sub Ricci. Callum Walsh is getting tickets on sale now, and like this is his girlfriend. Like if you want to put that in the analysis, sure. If you do want to like look at like some more fight stuff, you could look at the Mackenzie Dern fight. Be like, Mackenzie Dern got takedowns in Angela Hill, no problem. I think that's a fair thing to say. But even then against Loopy, but the Loopy didn't really shoot too much. I don't think Ricci's gonna have as easy of a time trying to put Tisha against the cage as she is gonna with Hill. Or no, opposite. She's not gonna have as easy of a time as putting Tisha as she did with Tisha, putting her on the cage. Not like she even did anything. I thought that was a bad robbery. 30-27 Tisha. Don't remind me. Thank God I bet plus 3.5 mainly on that fight. But like I think Angela Hill is probably gonna have more success in those, and that's why I do think she actually does win. But like I think she gets robbed. I really do think she gets robbed. I'm probably gonna play plus 3.5. There's gonna be an insane gold card. Give me Ricci to win a robbery. This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm not confident in Ricci in any sense. Like I'm not gonna bet her money line or anything like that. Plus 3.5, I'm probably gonna put something on it. So yeah, give me Ricci plus 3.5 to hit. Yeah. So yeah, I don't get mad if I'm be like, yeah, I should have known Angelo should have won. So yeah, Jared Cannonier versus Caio Borralho. This is a very interesting fight. I think a lot of short-term bias is being used here. I am picking Kyle to win. I think nobody's gonna win a decision, but maybe sub. I bet him at like much better odds. I bet him minus 110 when I saw them just come out. I was like, oh, these odds are freaking sick. This is probably how I'd line the fight. I also bet him since at like lower odds because I knew the odds were gonna get crazy on it, and it has. It really has. In my eyes, this fight comes down to, can Caio Borralho get takedowns in Jared Cannonier, which, by the way, not easy. Not easy. Cannonier is very hard to take down. So, got to set that straight. Depends on Jared Cannonier's leg kicks, because Caio Borralho's style, his stance, is more of like a karate stance. Those are going to be there to get hit. He's gonna get hit there for sure. Most good amount of time in the stand-up. So, got to mention that as well. It also depends on Caio Borralho's cardio over 5 rounds. I think he's got cardio for 5 rounds, but we still need to see it. And especially with this how I think he has to implement against Jared Cannonier. We need to get takedowns. It's fair to question it. It's fair to question it. I don't hate anyone betting Jared Cannonier here. I really don't. I think it's completely fair. It's a massive step up for Caio, especially after he just fought Paul Craig. Paul Craig to Jared Cannonier was a massive step up. More things you got to worry about. Cannonier's not like a fish out of water. Like anywhere, he's gonna be better on the feet, of course, but on the ground, he's not necessarily like a bum. He can survive. He'll be okay. It'll be impressive if Kyle can sub him, but yeah, he is coming back a little quick from that Imavov KO. That is a worry. It doesn't seem like his durability is dwindling a bit. I picked up Imavov and went pretty heavy on him in this fight. I was very, very confident in Nasruddin Imavov to win that fight, and I felt pretty vindicated. Although maybe not as much of ways because I thought he would get a KO round 1, but I mean, Imavov showed the best cardio he's ever had. He's getting better in that sense, and he caught Jared Cannonier bad. And Imavov is a fantastic striker. I don't think people realize just how good Imavov is. I really don't think people realize just how good that guy is. But Kyle himself is really good. I think I'm really high on Kyle. Like the 3 guys, I think I have a good chance of being the champion of this division by end of next year. In my opinion, are Caio Borralho, Nasruddin Imavov, or Dricus du Plessis. I think it's those 3. And I do like the game planning that comes with Caio Borralho. Not because of Fight Nerd. This whole narrative is like, you're so dumb. How do you pick against Fight Nerd? Like, oh my god. That's dumb. You're going to be able to fade these guys at one point. I guarantee. I mean, Thiago Moises lost. He went to Fight Nerds. It's not some magic. It's not some magic that they have going on there. The 2 guys I am a big fan of in the Fight Nerds gym, Caio Borralho, Carlos Pratas. I think those guys are the best ones in that gym. And that Gene Silva is pretty good. I'll give him that. Rufy, like Mauricio Hufi, like, I'm not sold about that guy. Just be Jamie Malarkey. Did impressively, so what? But yeah, Caio Borralho, this guy's good. I think he's gonna be able to get Jared Cannonier down, which is the key. He needs to get him down. He's got really good control, which I love, and I think that's gonna be that's a massive part. And I think he's going to be able to do things on the feet, not necessarily win on the feet, but he's got to do things on the feet that was going to make Cannonier have to think more. And because of that, the takedowns will open up. And Kyle is a big guy himself. 6'1" is this is off. He's bigger than that. Kyle's a massive dude for this weight class. I like me some Caio Borralho this fight. At the odds now, he's not. I don't think he's worth betting minus 250. I don't think he's worth betting at that price anymore. But yeah, I do think Caio Borralho does win this fight. So let's go through these picks one more time real quick. Let's see what we got. I know it's messing me up right now. So yeah, I think Kong Wang is going to be able to get Victoria Leonardo out of there probably early on. I think Ramsaka is going to be able to show his skill set here and why he should be freaking fighting for the tough thing, but whatever. It's not his fault, it's the commission's fault. And there's a reason why he's on this card, I think. I think Cavalcanti is just going to be too big, too strong for Josiane Nunes. Have takedown upside as well if she needs to go there. I think Borshchev is fantastico on the feet, and I think he's going to win like that on the feet. Zachary's, I think Josie Medina is a tough son of a gun, heavy back, but I think the submission is going to be there for Reese to take advantage of. I like Francis Marshall moving to ATT. I think that move ATT is going to pay off big against Dennis Bazooka. By the way, I had a good bet on Danny Silva, and when I found out he had like an injured foot, I was like, oh shoot, I'm scared now. Very happy that this fight changed. So yeah, but if the odds come down more on Francis Marshall, I'll be looking into it. I like Edmund Shabazian to win this fight. I think KO or decision, I think, is probably the most likely way. I think it's just too fast for GM3. If we thought Joe Pyfer was too fast for GM3, Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian's way faster even. I like Michael Morales to go ahead and win this fight. Gets Neil Magny. I think he's just a physical athlete, and because of that, really gives Neil Magny trouble. I think Con Ofley just has too much grappling upside, and I think he's going to be able to find a way to finish this fight with grappling. So I like Con Ofley to be able to find a takedown, get a takedown, hold the position, get a nice sub. Robert Valentin, I think he's too dangerous. I think he's going to catch Ryan Loder, who I'm really not that too high on. I forgot to mention, Ryan Loder's fight's on tough. He had a close fight with the Finnish guy. I'm forgetting his name, but the Finnish guy was pretty good, to be fair. It's not like he's some bum. By no means. I'm not going to disparage Orrin Kaban. He was pretty all right. Had a close fight with him for a reason, but he's had too much success with the wrestling, of course. And the guy who finished the first fight, like that guy's, again, it's Torres or the Canadian guy who is not the best on the show. They're not that great. So yeah, I'm not the crazy about Ryan Loder's wins. I think they're better than Myron's wins, if I'm honest. But not the craziest. To be fair, the Giannis guy, Valentin beat, not super great either. It's a good thing that they both dispatched those guys very well, very easily. But yeah, I think Valentin, I think this is a matchup for him to find a kill shot. Angelo versus Tabitha Ricci. I think Ricci wins a freaking probably split decision robbery. And I like Caio to be able to get takedowns on Jared Cannonier and hold position, keep himself well, have the cardio for 5 rounds, and do well. But I'm not opposed to anyone betting or picking Jared Cannonier. I totally get it. Cannonier's not no bum. If I want to go like betting wise, 6 strikes is all Kong Wang. I'm actually curious about that. Kong Wang. Kong Wang. I think she's gonna 6 strike bet. That's a lock just as much so as her going to win this fight. Ramaska. In terms of bets this fight, more takedowns, probably Nathan Fletcher. I think that's safe. Probably horrible odds on that. Maybe Ramaska, more 6 strikes, but I'm not too interested in that one. 6 strikes, Cavalcanti, not super interested. Not interested in betting that one like that. Not interested. Yeah. Bazooka, Francis Marshall. Not crazy. I think Edmund 6 strikes is going to hit. I think that's going to hit. Yeah, that I would only look at that in terms of like those 6 strikes and more takedowns bets. More 6 strikes, more takedown bets. I mean, I don't want to touch that one. I feel like probably more 6 strikes, Morales. Con Ofley, more takedowns. That's going to hit. Probably sucky odds. I think Robert Valentina, more 6 strikes. Because Loder kind of is a lay and pray guy. He's kind of a lay and pray guy. So maybe like the UFC will not even like give it to this guy because he's not even like the most exciting style. But yeah. Not interested in that one. Maybe like six strikes Angela Hill. But even then, I wouldn't even look at that. More takedowns, Kyle Borralho will be one I would look at. So yeah, those are some of the bets and stuff like that I'm looking at. Obviously talking about money line throughout the whole thing. Yeah, very excited about this card. There are definitely some spots I really like. I like Kyle Borralho. Maybe not so much now. I like Robert Valentin, especially or odds keep dropping. If they keep dropping, I'm probably going to put some more money on him. Kind of hopefully at these odds, I love it. I love it. I think if it comes even better odds, I might have to play a little more, which I don't really want to do, but do what you have to do. I love Edmund Shabazi, my favorite this week, and Kong Wang. She's gonna do work. She's gonna do work. So yeah, those are the bets, and feeling very excited. Let's go. Champ bets back again. Very excited for next week as well. Next week's card is way better even. I love that Burns Brady card. It's gonna be a great time. So yeah, can't wait. See you guys next time. Bye.